My action was absolutely go turn the TV on and see what the reality really is. And then it just turned to like, just shock um, that this cannot possibly be real. And then just kind of a weird combination of sadness and anger.
I grew up just outside of DC, and so this is a place that I've spent a lot of my life. I spent summers working there. I have close friends and family who did and still work in that area and in the capital itself. So, and I'm a history and government teacher, and so to see the institution being treated in that way, to see a place that is sacred to our democracy being treated so lightly, that just incredibly sad. And the frustration, anger, all of that, just to see that as a response from my own fellow countrymen is disheartening. But I also, it wasn't something that was entirely surprising, and I think that is where the deeper sadness comes from.
I mean, I am an institutionalist, so I believe that at its core, America is one that requires respect for our democracy and for sort of our legal process. And I just feel that it's really sad to hear that some people feel that instead of resolving disagreements, political disagreements, through reason and dialogue, they want to resolve political disagreements through force.
It was very surreal, and I didn't fully know what was happening at that point. And as the day continued, I think it was very disappointing and very saddening to see just how divided our nation has become, to the point where American citizens were willing to attack their own center of government in order to get their point across. It was not the right way to do it. It was destructive and antithetical to our way of life. However, later in the day, listening to many of the senators speak and changing their views due to an understanding of what needed to happen to bring our country back together, restored a bit of faith for me in our system of government and our leaders' ability to put the country first and do what's right rather than what's expedient for their own personal gain.
America's super divided right now, and I think that what we should do is work on accepting each other's differing political standpoints because the election is over and the people have voted, and like rioting will not change the votes.
It raises a really prominent question for citizens, and it's to what extent is our government willing to go to protect us and to protect our rights and our values? And I think that creates a lot of mistrust, and I don't think that people can really move on from this in a way that one would just forgive and forget. We have to know that the fight is far from over, and there's underlying anger between different kinds of people, and I think it'll take a long time for us to heal and for us to regain that trust in our government. And I think it takes a lot more than just a few months in a new presidency to just undo all the damage that was done, and to for our citizens to be able to trust the authority of our country and each other once again.
This is probably one of the most polarized moments for America since like the Civil War. There's so many divisions and like differences in just like the core American experience. So yeah, I think like at this point, it's really important that we find some way to unify.
As I say in class all the time, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but everyone's not entitled to their own facts. We have to somehow get back to a news media that responsibly reports factual information. And as consumers of the media, we have to insist on that. We have to do a better job insisting that our media tell us the truth. I think things like the fairness doctrine and bringing that back, and I think the preponderance of for-profit media really hurts that. So we have to find a way to get our information better. We have to find a way to teach information literacy better. I personally think we have somebody who is unstable in the most powerful position on earth. And that is potentially very dangerous. And again, regardless of politics, it's about stability, it's about morality, it's about stable decision making and recognizing the power of a person's words.
Gotten to a point where we like to respond to individual events with horror and outrage and Instagram memes, and then we move on to the next. I think it's really important as a society that we start to value information and learning and depth and nuance and perspective a whole lot more than we do. And it gets increasingly hard in a fast-paced world where we can get information quickly for us to take time and have thoughtful deliberation.